Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review The Fabelmans, and this is the latest film from Steven Spielberg, and is a autobiographical film heavily inspired by Spielberg's own upbringing, as this focuses on Sammy Fabelman, a young boy who's part of a family where the father is very much a scientist, his mother is very much an artist, and he's kind of stuck in the middle with this passion for filmmaking as he grows up, moving from place to place, and trying to find his footing and his purpose in life, and trying to find use for the very specific perspective of the world that he has, which seems like it's all meant to be through a camera lens. And what's interesting is I was watching this, and in many ways I feel a strong connection to Sammy Fabelman in terms of how I see the world and how I connect with people. And there was a interesting kind of realization I had watching this, and I hadn't had such a realization since watching Perks of Being a Wallflower, where I felt so connected to a protagonist, and that might make my perspective here a little bit biased, but this film really resonated with me. It spoke to me. Its themes and ideas of art versus science, art and how it fits into life, and the meaning of art and the importance of art really breathes and grows from here. And this isn't just a simple kind of family drama. There's some layers and complexities to what's going on with this family. We have Michelle Williams, who plays Sammy's mother, who is a free spirit. She obviously has some kind of issues that are kind of flying under the radar, but also feelings that might be flying under the radar outside of her marriage and outside of her family. And then you have Paul Dano, who plays Sammy's father, who's a little colder, a little more distant, a little bit more pragmatic. And that dynamic between his two parents is very interesting, because there's obviously love there, but there's also so many challenges, and this film does not pull punches. It shows a very emotional and impactful scene at one point where we have this fracturing of this marriage, and the emotions that pour out, and then the perspective that Sammy has on the situation just adds layers to who Sammy is as a character. You have all these great moments of Sammy making films and connecting with this art form, and it's inspiring and meaningful and impactful in the way that it builds that up and has the audience latch on to it. This film is incredibly well made. Steven Spielberg directs the heck out of this. It's 2 hours and 30 minutes with a wonderful pace that brings you along. I never once felt bored. I never felt like this movie was dragging. I felt like there was a purpose and a movement and a perpetual energy propelling this forward. And from every shot is meaningful, every shot is beautiful and structured, and from the cinematography of Kaminsky to the score from John Williams and all the other music utilized in the film, this is something that hits on a technical level while also delivering on a deeply emotional one too, a very personal one. We empathize with Sammy. We see his grow for love of film through watching The Greatest Show on Earth to The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance. And all of these different experiences building up this character. You see his dynamics with his family and some other people who come into his life, like Uncle Boris, played by Judd Hirsch, who is great in the very limited screen time that he has and brings so much depth to the themes and ideas of the film. You have our main character at the center of it, played by Gabriel LaBelle, who gives a fantastic performance, a very connective and empathetic performance where we can understand where Sammy is coming from. We want to feel for him. You could see some really impressive supporting performances from these veteran actors like Williams, Dano, and Hirsch. You have Seth Rogen thrown in there as well, who's a bit of fun. And some other interesting choices for some casting that makes for some interesting scenes. But this film is moving. It's so easy to watch. It's funny. I laughed quite a few times from start to finish. There's a dynamic here that just firing on all cylinders, only like Spielberg can pull together to make a film about the challenges of marriage, the passions for our passions, and while also delivering something fun and enjoyable and watchable. There's definitely moments that are a little bit harder to watch, but it's all done in an earnest and sincere way to make this an effective and moving experience. This is definitely blew me away. This honestly is up there for me with Spielberg's best, and this is definitely up there with 2022's best. This is a worthwhile 2.5 hour experience. Go experience this for yourself. There's plenty of magic to continue to flow from this for hours afterwards. This is going to leave you feeling a certain way and keep there with you for long after the credits start running. But those are my thoughts on the Fabelmans. Let me know what you think and let's talk some movies. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.